there's a couple that became very close to through the Homebound Ministry. They both have passed away, but they were always so grateful, that I had come to visit, and I was like, well, no, I'm grateful for the visit with you, and how humbling it is to hear their stories and know how much it means to them to have a visit and receive communion.
I am Lawrence Payne, a proud graduate of the University of St. Thomas, class of 1972. Please join us each week for a wonderful program here at Mac Studios from our campus, entitled For Such a Time as This. Each week we examine with our guests the social, economic, spiritual, and emotional issues that we face as human beings. Our discussions are rooted in unconditional love. We look at the 2 feet of Catholic social teaching, charity, and justice. Please join us here from Mac Studio for Such a Time as This. Welcome to this week's segment of For Such a Time as This, coming to you from the wonderful campus of the University of St. Thomas. We come to you with thoughts and ideas and concerns and issues and opportunities for discussion and dialogue about what we can be doing together collectively as a beloved community to help issues we face every day from a social perspective, but particularly from a Catholic social teaching perspective, and always with an eye and an ear towards social justice. We will continue to do these wonderful broadcasts with you as we've done this year. We look forward to the new year of 2022 as we celebrate the 75th anniversary of the University of St. Thomas, and we will have great programming with a much more perhaps in-depth kind of discussion. We're going to get together and kind of, shall we say, fancy it up a little bit for the 75th year with guests and theme music and a whole lot of other exciting things. So as we come to the close of this year of 2021, on the heels of 2020 and the pandemic and all that have gone with life changes since COVID-19, I wanted to kind of close this year with a discussion around the issues that we all work toward as caring human beings all year and helping other human beings in their understanding of their journey of life, but particularly when it comes to perhaps the elderly, more so than not. And this time of year, as we know, the holiday seasons really create its own special challenges for many individuals who don't have a lot of family around, or in some cases, no family, and has outlived many of their friends. So that number keeps diminishing every year, decreasing every year. And so it is left to a wonderful, wonderful programs like the one at St. Theresa Catholic Church in Memorial Park called Homebound Ministry. And it is the director of it is Kelly Glanding, and we're so glad to have her on today. And Kelly's going to tell us about this work that she does and how important it is and how you can get involved. But it really is about compassion and care and unconditional love and all those things we talk about every week here on For Such a Time as This. So I'm just going to turn it over to Kelly and we'll start talking and having a dialogue together about these issues. First of all, welcome, Kelly. And so great to have you on and glad to have you join us today. All right.
No, I appreciate it. So my grandfather, he passed away several years ago, but in the latter few years of his life, received communion at home. I'm from Delaware, and that's where he lived. And it was the only reason he would get off the phone with me was when the ministers would come visit him Sunday morning. So that, of course, really touched me and knew how important that was to him, receiving communion and I think more importantly, receiving the visitors to his home. And after that, got involved with the Homebound Ministry at St. Teresa's. There's about 12 ministers, all volunteers, and myself as well. And we visit a group of homebound parishioners every Sunday, bring communion, and I think more importantly, or as important as receiving communion is the visit and the fellowship that we share with them. And many of them, like you mentioned, have outlived their peers or maybe have limited family nearby, so they really look forward to our visits on Sundays. and they're also many of them are founding parishioners of St. Teresa's, and they still feel very much a part of the parish and the community, even though they don't attend mass. So they're anxious to hear news of the parish and news of the community. And I've been involved in the ministry for just about 10 years, and they started off as strangers, and now I feel very close to the ones that are still still living, and they've met my children, they've met my husband, and it's grown from just a visit on Sunday to really a more in-depth relationship. And certainly it's been tough with COVID. We had to suspend the ministry, I guess for almost a year, maybe just over a year, to make sure that we kept the homebound safe and didn't bring anything into their home. So it's been the last, well, coming up on a year of being back visiting with them, and just the toll that the pandemic took on those that don't have a lot of contact with the outside community. It's been difficult to kind of see their decline this last year, but certainly are excited to be back visiting.
Kelly, when you take what you just said and kind of amplify it across the city and across our communities, it seems that that is really one of the challenges going forward. I've delivered Meals on Wheels for many years, and what you say is so dear to my heart, because I had to really, I guess in some ways, stop delivering because I was not good at it, because I stayed too long at each stop. So you're on a schedule, you're on a timetable, you got a route that you're trying to finish. And my tendency was to sit and talk and listen longer than I should have, because as you said, for many of them, that was the only person they saw all week, the only contact they had. And I think as I, over the years, that has always pulled at my heart, and it always pulled at my heart tug, and it brought tears to my eyes. And sometimes when I would drive away, I would be in tears, and I would come back later on at the end of the route and revisit the person again. How do we get, it's such a easy, compassionate thing to do, to care, to call on an elderly person, to stop by and visit if you can now with COVID. But that's something everyone, not only in our parish, but every parish should be doing, every church, denomination,
Yes.
church, parish, synagogue, and mosque. That ought to be one of the simple outreach things that a human being in caring relationship for another human being would want to do and should
Agreed.
do.
Yes. And I think, again, the last 10 years of visiting is that, the elderly, they just want to share their stories and share, what's happened in their life, and have, a listening ear, and more so than anything else is just, again, just they want to share their story, and it takes such little effort on the part of the visitor to stop in and sit
Yes.
for 15-20 minutes and really just listen, and I think that's all that they're looking for, and it you know gives so much to them, again, just having the listener. And there's a couple that became very close to through the Homebound Ministry. They both have passed away, but they were always so grateful, that I had come to visit. And I was like, well, no, I'm grateful for the visit with you, and how humbling it is to hear their stories and know how much it means to them to have a visit and receive communion.
Yeah,
Um,
let's speak to that for a moment. It is really what both parties get out of it, the giver and the receiver.
mhm,
It is that true touch tone, that simple reality of life, of the giving and receiving, the ability to give and receive unconditional love to and from each other. And it's something I think that many people, once they've experienced it with another human being, like an elderly person and others, begin to realize that it is something I can do. It is not as hard or difficult or as challenging as I thought it may be. And I really think it's something that can be expanded. I talked to some retirees in different parishes over the last few years who said, I need to get involved in something. And this would be something I need to do. So my question to you is this, and it probably already exists, but that just shows where I am. To the Diocesan Office of Aging, do the various ministers of the different parishes with same title, similar to yours, Homebound or related, do they all get together? Do they talk about what collectively, individually they're doing? Is it time to have a conference, a Homebound Ministry conference in the diocese? I'm pushing the envelope because just this little time period here during this season, holiday season, just the extra things that I've done and others that I've talked to have delivered meals around Thanksgiving and other things, and everyone left, as you said, with a story. Everyone had a story to tell about the person they encountered. Everyone left in tears, basically.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's time to up the game.
No, I think a conference amongst the parishes through the diocese would be fantastic, and just to look for other ideas of how St. Theresa can grow their service. I don't think that just again looking at St. Teresa's by itself, I don't think we're reaching as many people as we could that are homebound and in need of, whether it's communion, a visit, or if their needs extend beyond that. Several years ago, had a couple that were had a hard time paying their bills, and without a visit from the homebound, I don't think that the parish would have known their situation. So if certainly meeting with other parishes that to learn what they're doing and how we can grow at St. Teresa's, I think would be fantastic. And also getting guidance from the Archdiocese. We I guess year before last, the ministers and we met with Father Phil to have just an evening together to again discuss how we can reach out to more people and how we can serve the existing homebound parishioners better. But to expand that would be great.
Well, my thought was that I've had a conversation, not necessarily related to St. Teresa, just in general, but it all applies, with Catholic Charities through their Office of Social Ministries that works very closely in most parishes with the Office of Homebound Ministry, or they go by different names. And so maybe the thought is, and you and I can work on this together and then offer it to the other parishes of the diocese. And we're going to wrap St. Thomas in this somehow, because that's what we always do. University of St. Thomas. And to really maybe have a conference around this issue, a half-day seminar, a symposium, to look deeply into this. I think it's time to talk about giving, let me put it this way, giving people greater opportunities to serve by making it very simple. Yes. When the retirees told me, this is something I think I'd like to do. I can do this. This I can do it. Well, we got a bunch of retirees in all parishes, don't we?
Yeah.
So let's put them to work. And so I think it might be an interesting thing to do. It certainly would be a great service to provide, and work on it together. Because I'm speaking this whole my whole talk with you this afternoon is based upon just having my heart torn out of my body in that conversation I had with that little lady. And the hardest thing was to leave her. And as I told you, I had to come back. When I finished making all my rounds, I had to come in. And she said, "You're the first human being that I've sat and talked to and have come visit me in 14 days. And so it shouldn't be. We have too many resources in this city. That's just
agreed.
That shouldn't be. Anyway, I'm rambling, but go ahead.
No, I think today's society, everybody's so attached to their phones and social media, and you're more connected than ever. But then then there's, you know, a huge portion of the population that, um, you know, isn't connected, is like the woman
No, she has no computer. She
spoke
knows
of.
nothing about
Yeah,
technology. She still has a
right.
flip phone that really wasn't working
Mhm.
well.
Mhm. But and irregardless, you still need that human interaction. The TV and the phone and the internet, you know, is not true connection, and that only comes with, you know, meeting the person, visiting with the person face to face.
Well, as you said, in your 10 years, you have great stories and testimonies. I'm sure the people who work with you have the same stories. Sometimes it's just as simple as telling your story, and everybody's
Agreed.
sharing their stories. And the story is always the touchstone that touches hearts. And I think maybe we can set up that kind of forum. Going forward in the next years, you see your work and ministry expanding. Um, and not only in your case, but others that you talk to and literature that you read and et cetera. What do you see as the biggest challenges in this kind of environment? COVID is, yes, throws a curveball, but setting COVID aside for a moment, going forward, what do you see as some of the biggest challenges?
I think, I mean, speaking to St. Teresa's, I think it's, you know, the parish is growing, but it's the same core group of people that, you know, that do the volunteering, that do the ministry work, and just reaching out to, you know, new members of the parish, or maybe existing members that have been reluctant to get involved, you know, due to time constraints or the like, and just encouraging them to, even if they just visited one person a month,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
just starting small. I think it's, you know, and myself included, the constraints of raising a family, and you know, my day job, my regular paying job, outside of the ministry at St. Teresa's. You know, I think people are just constrained, by time, and but just, I think encouraging them that, you know, one weekend a month, one day out
Mm-hmm.
of the month to make those visits.
Yeah,
And
we
I
could
think
set up.
that would. Mhm.
Yeah, we could set up a schedule. Everybody takes spread it out over a month. Everybody takes a day. It's
Mhm.
like spending time with the Eucharist and exposition. Everybody has a
Exactly.
holy hour. Everybody has now
Mhm.
a holy hour to go spend with an elderly person and set it
Mhm.
up in a way that allows them to be engaged. I
And
think.
and I think
Go ahead.
also, sorry, to just to let the homebound know that that's available to them. I think sometimes they feel like they're a burden if they ask for communion or a visit.
Mhm.
So getting the word out to them that this is available, and it's no inconvenience. It's why we're here, is to serve them,
Exactly. Exactly.
um, and how to best do that.
With the Thanksgiving now passed, and I'm sure that was with Christmas coming, are there special things and needs and concerns or help or volunteers that you need going forward during this season?
Um, we actually don't have that many. We have seven seven homebound parishioners and 12 ministers. So we
So
actually
you're good.
need more
Okay.
homebound minister or homebound, parishioners. And, my two daughters are, 4 and 6, and I asked their teachers to have the kids make Thanksgiving and Christmas cards. So we've got handmade Christmas cards to deliver, and then the hospitality ministry has volunteered to bake cookies, for the homebound. So we've got some cookies and cards to take. So fortunately, I think we're in pretty good shape for, the current parishioners on
Other
the
than
list.
delivering the sacrament and delivering communion, um, casting a bigger net around our community as far as visiting homebound seniors, maybe something we want to think about doing too, and make it really the community around the parish and beyond. I know we had a lot of talk about that in
Mhm.
the kind of the parish going outward, but that may be something to consider. I'm not trying to put anything on our plate or your plate. I'm just thinking out loud as I do in these kind of conversations to really engage. It's really about engaging people. And I know that everybody, not everybody, I've talked to parishioners who have said, I know someone who is homebound or senior citizen, but they're not a member of the parish. And my point to them was, they don't need to be a member of the parish.
No.
So, and I think if we just ask that question of who knows someone or knows someone who might be in need, who may not be a member of the parish, we can help serve them. Because I really applaud your work. I applaud your way of handling it and your visits and your care and concern. But it's just something that strikes me as something that we can do this, people.
Yes. Yeah.
This is doable. I'm not asking you to do all the hard, heavy lifting stuff. I'm asking you to do this, which is very, very doable within your bandwidth.
No, I like the idea of the community outside of parishioners at St. Teresa's. I think there's a lot of people in need, and just how to reach them and get them connected to
Mm-hmm.
visitors, whether they receive communion or not. Just the human interaction, I think,
Yeah.
does more than anything.
And I'm sure Catholic Charities has a list of people
Mhm.
who may be in need. And it also strikes me that with the growing immigrant community, some of their seniors, and partnering with perhaps someone like Interfaith Ministries and working with them, I think we all get a chance just to. There's this wonderful poem by Leonard Cohen, and the last sentence goes like this: "After a deeper searching of the heart, we now rise to play a greater part." And I think that's so telling of where we are today. Just giving people the opportunity, just showing them the opportunity, giving them the opportunity. I think people in their hearts want to do something.
Agreed. Yes.
And I think sometimes if we can just give them the pathway in a very simple way, we can help them do that. And I know that one lady told me after Mass the other day, she said, well, I'm writing this check, I'm putting it in the little box here for some charity to do some good work. She said, but I write this big check every year at the end of the year for charity. I would love to find something I can do hands-on other than just write the check. And that's one of the reasons that struck me when I talked to you last week when we were trying to do it, was my emphasis for getting hold of you and saying, yeah, okay, she writes the check and that's important and that's great, but she wants to get involved. She wants to do hands-on. So let's see what we can do. Anyway. So what do you think we go with this? Can we? I'll follow up. I'll run some traps on my end with Catholic Charities. I'll probably in our Lunch and Learn series, as you know that we're doing now at St. Teresa's, I'll probably get the representative from Catholic Charities to come
Okay.
to our January Lunch and Learn or February. I'm working on it now, and you can help me co-sponsor that one from the office of Homebound Ministry, and we can see how we can engage charities in what they're doing in this arena.
Yes,
and
no, it'd be
partner with them.
Yeah, no, it'd be really good to learn what others are doing and how we can piggyback on that.
And I'm doing this intentionally for such a time as this, because it's shown to lots of different people through the wonderful resources of University of St. Thomas in the various formats that we talked about last year, the conference I mentioned, conference symposium, half day something. Discussion about elderly and homebound, hopefully there at St. Thomas in the Scanlon room, which we're all familiar with, to really begin to say, look, the students do some great things in their outreach. Students do a lot of work in helping others. The seniors is a natural partner to do some things with going forward. And maybe we can wrap all that together and see what we can accomplish and do it with heart. It really is. I think this whole thing about helping each other achieve their goals, and whether they're young or old, is that service attitude, being that servant and really doing it with unconditional love. All right, I'm gonna give you about a quick 30 seconds to close out and talk about anything we haven't mentioned. Say anything you want to say that we've left out. And then
No,
I'm
I
gonna do a little wrap up.
really appreciate the opportunity to come on and speak to something that again, I work as an engineer. I'm a mother to 3 children, a wife, but the Homebound Ministry is one of the most important things I do, and reaching the folks that can't come to church and really just enjoy the visiting with others and feeling like they're still part of the community, even if they don't get to leave their home very often.
And you're a busy person, and you figure
Yeah,
out how to make it happen.
that's right.
You always say we make time for the stuff we have passion for,
Yes.
and we figure out how to do it. By the way, I realized I only mentioned your first 2 names. There's a third name. So
Glanding Woelfel.
thank
My
you.
hus-
Okay.
my husband is to blame for the woeful part.
No, I did not want to leave him
Yeah.
out. So, Kelly, so Kelly, again, thank you very much.
No,
Look
thanks
forward to
for having
following
me.
up with you.
Yes.
And I'm gonna give a couple of closing comments here and closing commentary, and we'll be gone. So, what we've been talking about with Kelly today is really grace. Um, as I mentioned, that wonderful poem and line from Cohen's thing has struck me. After deeper reflection of the heart, we rise to play a greater part. So all of us looking back at the last couple of years through the lens of history gives us an opportunity to recalibrate what we think and value. Given all that we have gone through, we have learned about the preciousness of life, the amazing diversity of our humanity, the fleeting joys and persistent struggles that we all have been involved in, that we've helped each other through. Our expectations are changing. There is a recalibration among higher hopes for equality, for fairness, for compassion, for love, for safety, for freedom, for responsibility, and for accountability. Maybe grace grows a little stronger during this coming year, leaving room for the other, being accountable through humanity, expressing something daily that affects our lives, expressing our gratitude daily for what we are grateful for, sharing our hopes with each others, our joys, our fears, sharing what gives us happiness, what renews you. How are you renewed? How do you take care of yourself to be renewed? How do you find time for self, for reflection, for meditation, for prayer? How do we develop and continue to strengthen our own personal prayer lives that gives us what we need to be able to be of service to other human beings? So friends, as we close out this year of 2021, and we look forward to the new year of 2022, our friends in our lives that have moved on, passed away, that we've lost contact with, reminds us every day the need to practice, to give, to receive, to reach out, and be of unconditional love. That is my hope for all of us for the new year. And we're going to continue through this wonderful vehicle and format for such a time as this to raise those issues, those touchstones, those opportunities, those challenges that we face as human beings in service to our fellow human beings. As Catholic Christians, we are called to do that in a higher order way because of our great foundation of Catholic social teaching and social justice. We look forward to you joining us as we go forward in this endeavor. As always, thank you very much for your calls, emails, and text messages for previous shows we've aired here for such a time as this, and your great ideas for suggestions, topics, and guests to be covered in upcoming sections of this show. We look forward to being part of your life going forward, part of your work, part of your challenges, your struggles, and your prayers as we continue this journey together. Until then, as always, peace, power,